Hi, Ben.
Hey, how are you doing today, Sophie?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Doing pretty amazing. Just had a pretty incredible day.
So you told me you skated on Tony Hawk's first level skate park?
Okay, yeah, no, like right now I'm taking a cross-country trip. Skateboarding's been really big in my life for quite a long time, and in the first Tony Hawk Pro Skater, there's a level called Burnside, which is an actual skate park that was like a DIY thing in Portland. Right now I'm in Portland, and I got to go check it out. Thought it was kind of cool. It's kind of ironic because, it's kind of ironic because as I got older, I switched to just doing longboarding, doing downhill longboarding because my knees and my ankles can't take the impact anymore. Like road rash takes a little while to heal, but tendon injuries, those take a long while to heal. So I gotta switch up.
You're still experiencing your passions.
Oh, for sure. No, it's a good time.
So how did you get into wire wrapping or any other art that you do?
Jewelry, So that's kind of an interesting one. I have a story about why I got into it and how I got into it. Both of them are kind of different.
Yeah, let's hear it all.
You want to hear it all?
Yeah, let's hear it all.
Okay, so I read a book that changed my life when I was younger. I was in middle school, and I had a friend who was real into playing the bass, and he told me I needed to read Victor Wooten's book, The Music Lesson. In this book, a random teacher just kind of arrives at Victor Wooten's house, Tennessee, and starts teaching him stuff. The ironic part of that is the dude shows up on a longboard with a full face helmet, does the same kind of skateboarding I'm doing now, but he teaches Victor Wooten all of the different aspects of life through relating it to music. And in one part, he's teaching him the value of emotion in music. And as an exercise, he takes 5 rocks and puts them across the hood of his car. And he picks up one and he has Victor hold it. And he's like, all right, I want you to put all of your emotion of love into this rock. Like all the love that you can feel. I want you to charge this rock with your love.
Uh-huh.
So he does it. And then he puts it up on the hood of his car. And then he's like, blindfolds him, and then he goes and picks it out. You get the gist of what's going on here. Then later at his house, he had Victor blinds Michael, and Michael starts picking albums off of the wall based on the feel that they had. But this whole experience really, I started looking at rocks through that lens. I always had an attraction to gemstones and everything. And then there was, I also did an experiment when I was a kid for, not the science fair. It was just as an experiment for a class where I made an electromagnet, right? Which all you do to make an electromagnet, you take a bar, you can take any steel rod and wrap the thing with a whole bunch of copper. You're just making giant amounts of coils of copper around a steel rod, and then you charge it. You have a really powerful electromagnet.
Okay.
Now that's at the center of every electric motor, every alternator, generator, also transformers, simply just coils of wire and magnets. Now, putting the two concepts together, where I'm making coils of wire around literally Earth's chemistry projects. They're like prisms for light, sound, and electromagnetic energy, and putting the two together in a way that it's inspiring. That's why I started wire wrapping.
Oh wow, what a story!
Yeah, started like hitchhiking all across the country. Very ironically, exactly where I'm at now. Like my life has kind of come full circle because I'm literally doing the same trip that I did when I was 19, where I like hitched from Seattle all the way down to San Fran and then back up the coast. Spent like 4 or 5 months just hitchhiking. I came back to Boulder afterwards because I lived in Boulder, Colorado, and I was like homeless, couldn't really make anything happen. The bigger the city you live in, the more bureaucratic things get. So I decided to move up into this little mountain town, and like there's a mountain town about 20 miles west of there called Netherland, and like it's also really brutally cold. Like that winter, it got down to like -47 up there, and that's Fahrenheit for those of your listeners who are overseas. But I went up there, and I was hell-bent determined that I was going to make a living doing something. I wasn't going to ask anybody for shit. I was going to figure out my own way of being self-reliant and coming up with something, because I knew I had the potential within me to do so. So I go up there. I think, you put enough will into something. Like, if you're a very willing and eager worker, somebody's going to put you somewhere. Now, that's normally the case, but in the middle of winter in a town that's not a ski town, in Colorado, there's like no economy. Like literally, like restaurants are losing money. They're keeping their employees for the sake of the employees making it through the winter. This isn't like no one's making shit money. So, that being the case, all jobs were based on seniority, and I had none of it. So my buddy taught me how to tie hemp when I was a kid, and I really liked rocks. I knew that, so I started like working with my hands to like make these obscene structures around rocks that probably didn't hold up for more than a few weeks. Looking back on it, and attached them to like
get all the materials going.
Oh no, I was like I remember at a time I could only buy like $10 worth of copper, and I think I just started picking up rocks off the ground originally. Like I literally started from nothing, and when I was living up there, like I am very lucky I survived. I had 2 tarps and a Walmart sleeping bag. Like every night I went to sleep, my hands were numb and my feet were numb, and I woke up with my hands numb and my feet numb.
I know that feeling because I've slept out of my car before, and I've always had to put that almond milk cream on my knees because they would like freeze up.
Oh no, this is like I was very legitimately like about to have frostbite.
Oh my god.
Like it was cold, and I had literally like I didn't even have a tent.
Oh wow.
I was living in a backpack. Like I was living on like a cup of ramen a day. Like like truly surviving this was very difficult. But anything that I do, I'm an overachiever about. It's just what I do. If there is any skill that I can chase, it's like a ball. I'm like a golden retriever, and a golden retriever that gets endless joy about pursuing skill in anything I do. It's just what I'm about. I don't know, like that's what brings me most joy in life. So I kept at it, and I have a friend still to this day. Her name's Mindy. She's great. She was one of the first people to teach me that you had to use pliers in order to manipulate the wire, right?
Correct.
And she also, when I started doing it, I had no idea what people were doing with wire. And then I remember she told me about a website called metalworkers.org. I saw like Jason Burris and Nesta and like Bobby Sola, some of like the original pioneers of taking really high-end gems. And Scott Baylor, props to Scotty, does 77. For like using really high-end rocks in their work. And then I saw this, and I was like, all right, if they can do it, I can do it. And I can definitely, like, if you take any, this is advice for any other artists out there, too, who's listening. Like, if you take your skill and you push yourself just a little bit further every day, and you try, like, tangibly better yourself every day and just set that as a standard, how that's going to compound in 10 years' time is pretty outstanding. I've been doing this now for 12 years. I've gotten from the point of, like, living outside, having literally nothing, to, like, having an audience the size of a small city. I've sold pieces for, like, $3,500 for a single piece, only going up from here, too. I'm trying to trying to do a piece for 5 figures this year. That's important to me. Yeah, and just, like, constantly push the envelope on what you're capable of. Yeah, and never, ever get comfortable.
That's definitely some good advice. So, how do you, right now when do you find the time to wire wrap?
This is one of those things, literally after about 10,000 hours of doing any given activity, your brain starts to rewire itself to just do that automatically, right? Like, I'm sitting at about like 25,000 bench hours. For me, wrapping wire now, even if I'm doing something complex, is about like chewing gum. And it's like, but it feels like a necessity. Like, I can't not do it. I'm also the type of person who, like, if I say I'm gonna do something, I do it.
You're gonna do it. Yeah.
Yeah, and I never really, like, half-ass anything. That's another thing too, that's like really good advice for anybody trying to come up in the art world, is you set your standards for yourself every single day. You set your habits, and you have to continuously be willing to raise your own bar on what you expect from yourself. Michael Jordan went out every single day before he did anything else. He made 1,000 shots.
Yeah.
Like, he had to make 1,000 free throws before he would do anything else in his day. He set a bar for himself that was higher than anyone else, and that's why he's Michael Jordan. So, like, if you just incrementally raise your bar, not just do the thing that's going to compound, but set your standard higher on what you're giving in your, I guess, account that's compounding. But yeah, in your skill account.
Yeah. A lot of practice goes into it. Do you what's your favorite experience, or what's your favorite piece that you've made while you've been wire wrapping?
I've had a couple of ones that have given me some really phenomenal stories about connecting with the community. But I mean, like, it's more or less anything that you do that becomes an entrepreneurial endeavor, you do in service of contributing to the world. I spent a long time thinking about, like, the specific value of what I do, how to better place that so that I'm contributing to. Because, I mean, like, through jewelry, like, people like to connect with each other. But I guess sorry, I'm getting off track, not answering your question directly.
No, that's okay.
So, there's this really good story recently that kind of, like, embodies, I guess, a whole bunch of other stories. But, like, I was at a show, and I ran into a buddy I hadn't seen in a while. And I was like, oh, hey, you know, like, we were about to part ways. So I'm like, hey, you know, actually, if you ever need anything, you should look me up. You know, if you're ever looking for a piece, it's like, actually, you know, I'm about to go see my daughter. and I'm about to go see my daughter, and I'd love to get her something. And I was like, all right. And he came by later, grabbed a piece, and he's like, oh yeah, it has to have sapphire. And we're like, all right, I've got just the thing. And so he grabs it for me, right? I don't hear from him for a couple of days. And then it turns out, like, living in this small community I was telling you about in Netherlands, right? It's like 2,000 people. Everybody knows everybody. And he was from up there. His daughter's mom hits me up, and she's like, oh my God, yeah, he got this for our daughter, and I didn't know that, like, they'd split for a while, but, she's like, she showed me a video of her daughter up at daycare. Their little girl's like 5 years old, and she's like going through the stone list on the piece, and her name was Sapphire, right? She's like, oh, this is amethyst, and this is tanzanite, and this is sapphire. And she's like show and tell with this, and her mom was like, dude, you just, like, this piece means her dad's love, who she hasn't been able to, like, be connected with in a very long time. This represents her dad to her. Like, this is really important in her world. And I, like, strengthened the bond of a relationship between a daughter and her father through what I did. Now, like, art on its own, it's just a bunch of spirals. But when it becomes, like, the connection between a parent and a child and a representation of love, that's when
so
you make
touching.
that's
so touching.
beautiful. Those kind of, like, that effect on the world, that's beautiful when you get the privilege of playing a role in something like that. And, like, artwork does that for people. Jewelry in particular becomes a gift. I don't know. We're there to decorate and inspire the world. It's a good call. Yeah.
Most definitely.
But also,
it's so nice to hear that story. I mean, it's really touching.
for sure. Not happy to tell it. I don't know. Like, that had me so tickled. For real.
I've
Like,
seriously
every time
felt
I
the
think about
vibe.
it,
Yes.
for sure.
It's been really nice having you. Is there anything else that you wanted to share with us about your process or?
Process. Man. Guess I could talk about, like, the importance of innovation. I don't know. I'm entirely self-taught in what I do.
I feel you on that. When I started painting, I was completely self-taught.
Yeah. Sometimes that makes it a lot harder, though, doesn't it?
Yeah, I'm not a very good
Like,
illustrator, but I'm good at painting. So I just kind of continued on that.
for sure. Okay. If I do have one thing to say, if you know something, be hella willing to teach those around you. Each one must teach one in order for a community or for everyone to grow. We all stand on the shoulders of giants. Be a giant for someone else. And anything, like, any idea that you come across, as soon as you're gone, like, that idea still exists. Like, we don't own ideas. So it's up to us to share them with each other. And if you're also trying to learn something, definitely look for a teacher. Like, or look for those around you who you can, like, network with and mutually support. You never know what kind of potential you got inside of you.
Mentor each other and all that.
Mentor each other and look for mentors. I don't know. Right now I'm in a position where that's kind of the next step for me, because I want to move everything I'm doing into, like, casted work and like very, very high-end fabrication. That's the goal of what I'm trying to do. And I'm about to go study with a guy and do a really sick collab.
Nice.
Yeah, no, Joseph Miller. We'll look him up on Insta.
Okay.
It's does phenomenal work. We'll be working with him pretty soon.
Wow.
Have summer trip.
Well, it was really great to have you, and your humility is very, it's touching. It's very touching.
Thank you. For sure, you too, Sophie. Appreciate you, and thank you for having me. Like, yeah.
Yeah, and you're definitely welcome to look this podcast up on 360 Art Drops in YouTube, and I will also put it up on SoundCloud so you can hear the audio podcast.
Oh, for sure. No, I'm definitely sharing this on my Insta and Facebook.
It'll be nice, and maybe we can do live someday when you're a little more situated.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah.
I'm
just so blessed to have you. Sorry?
I'm going to have some pretty cool things coming. I can guarantee it. That's definitely going to be worth talking about. So, yeah.
I'm really glad I connected with you.
For sure. You too, Sophie.
Okay, well, I'll see you again soon.